The Curse of the Sunken Island Introduction. In this video, I'll tell you a terrifying story about an ancient curse that doomed an entire expedition. Imagine a 19th century ship filled with fearless treasure hunters sailing into uncharted waters in search of legendary gold. But when they land on a sunken island, the nightmare begins. What was hiding in the fog? Why did the crew's journal end in frantic, terrifying scribbles? And what happened to the captain, who was the last to descend into the ancient tomb? Watch until the end. The conclusion of this story will haunt you. Chapter 1. The Legend of the Cursed Gold. In 1832, Captain William Davenport gathered a crew of the bravest treasure hunters of his time. They set sail into the unknown waters of the Southern Ocean, chasing whispers of the gold of the sunken island, a place spoken of only in hushed tones. Legend had it that the island belonged to an ancient civilization that angered the gods. As punishment, their city was swallowed by the sea, and those who tried to claim their riches never returned. But Davenport didn't believe in stories. He had seen a map, hand-drawn by a dying sailor whose hand trembled as he spoke of an island he had escaped from just in time. And so, aboard the Mary Rose, the expedition began. Chapter 2. The Island That Shouldn't Exist. After 2 months at sea, during a moonless night, the lookout shouted, "Land ahead!" But the map showed nothing. There should be no island here. When the fog lifted at dawn, they saw it, a dark, foreboding shore wrapped in mist as if it had risen straight from hell. The coastline was littered with the wrecks of old ships, rotting hulls, splintered masts, no sign of life. The island called to them. It wasn't on any map, but the crew had already made up their minds. They wouldn't leave without the treasure. Chapter 3. The First Discoveries. They stepped ashore into eerie silence. No birds, no insects. Just the low howling of wind through crumbling ruins. They found ancient remains, a forgotten temple sealed by a massive stone door covered in strange carvings. "Looks like a warning," the first mate Beckett muttered. But greed drowned out caution. They set up camp and began clearing the entrance. That very night, the disappearances began. Chapter 4. Shadows in the Fog. At night, young Thomas vanished. His hammock was empty. In the sand, bare footprints leading into the forest, toes long and unnatural. "He must have run off," the captain said, but his eyes were fixed on the horizon. The next night, Beckett disappeared. They found his journal in his tent. The last line read, "Something is outside, not human, its eyes dead." Captain Davenport ordered everyone to arm themselves, but no one noticed. The forest was watching them. Chapter 5. Into the Tomb. Davenport had enough. They forced open the temple door and stepped inside. The walls were covered in disturbing murals, people hiding, running from black figures with hollow eyes. In the center of the chamber, gold. Boxes of coins, gems, relics. "We're rich," someone cried. But when Davenport reached for a coin, a low whisper echoed around the room. The first mate collapsed, twitching violently. The rest froze. Then, the shadows on the walls started to move. Chapter 6. They have awakened outside. The fog thickened. Within it, shapes emerged. Not quite men, not quite beasts. Their faces were shrouded in darkness, but their eyes glowed faintly. The crew fired their muskets, but the bullets passed through. Captain Davenport tried to grab the treasure chest, but his hands began to blacken and rot. "Let it go," someone screamed. But it was too late. Screams filled the air. A melody, low and twisted, echoed from the trees. Then, silence. Chapter 7. The Last Ship. Weeks later, the Mary Rose was found drifting in open waters. No one aboard, no lifeboats missing, but carved into the mast, with trembling hands, one word, "Cursed." Epilogue. Years passed. More expeditions tried to find the island, but it was gone. Those who searched for it vanished. But sailors say, when the sea is still and the fog creeps low, you can hear whispers across the water, and sometimes, just before sunrise, you'll see a ship drifting through the mist, empty, except for the shadows on deck, waiting, still guarding their cursed gold, and the souls who dared to take it.